Welcome to the 5th Aarhus Creative Mornings. It's the first time ever that all the chapters have the same theme. That's art and tech and the magic that happens when the two things meet. So without talking anymore, I would like to introduce Katrine, multi-talented woman. So please welcome Katrine.
Good morning. Are you okay? Are you set with coffee, tea and everything? Okay. My name is Katrine Ring, in Danish Katrine Ring. I'm a DJ, composer, writer, everything is concerned about music in my world, even when I'm working with other things. So music is the center of everything that I do. I have done for the last 6 years a series of club events called Yellow Lounge, which is classical music meeting DJ culture. And there's a lot of problems with that. I'll tell you a little bit about that during these 20 minutes. Out of that club work, I have had the possibility to actually produce and remix an album that has been released just a few weeks ago. I would like you to listen to this album. It's about 42 minutes long, and I'm well aware that we don't have the time for it. So I thought maybe we should take advantage of the technology to listen to this album in just 1 minute and 1 second. Here we go. There you go. With the help of technology, you can now listen to music in a very short period of time. This is called time stretch. It depends on what kind of program you use. You can also call it master tempo or something like that, which means that you actually have the same tune. You are in tune with the original composition, but you can compress it so it takes very, very little time. And the thing I really would like to talk about, because it is about music and technology, and what I think is extremely interesting these days is when classical music meets the technology, which in my case means when classical music meets DJ culture. The album is a series of, is actually 8 tracks that I have chosen to remix. 8 tracks coming from the chamber concert of the late Danish composer called Vagn Holmboe. He died 103 years ago. Oh, well, no, he died like 15 years ago, but he was born 103 years ago. And when he could have had his 100-year birthday anniversary, the festival in Horsens that is devoted to his works and his career, Holmboe i Horsens Festivalen, they gave me this assignment that I could dive into the work of Vagn Holmboe and do whatever I wanted to do with it, because I was a DJ that actually could work with this. And I chose the chamber concerts. The chamber concerts because they have a structure, they have an expression, and they have a content, a musical content that was very easy to work with, and had a very high, what could I call it, a DJ appeal, because a lot of his music is made with very few quotations that he repeats, and he changes them little by little, and that is pretty much how DJs work. They take something and they change it bit by bit. It's a very easy going way of doing music. So I thought these chamber concerts could be interesting to manipulate. And I would of course manipulate them with the technology, with a musical editing program, and this one is actually called Ableton. What I have, what is quite interesting for me is that classical music is very difficult to listen to if you, for instance, drive a car, because that you have very strong dynamics, you have very, very low impact, for instance, from the violin, and you have a very, very strong, blown out sound picture when you hear the full orchestra, if you're talking about a symphony orchestra. And these very highs and lows are very difficult to hear when you're driving the car and listening to classical music at the same time. Pop music, they have discovered this for a very long time ago. So they know already that they are working with compression. Compression is kind of a filter. It's kind of it's a way that you can enhance the music. So you have fewer lows and fewer highs, and you can compress the picture of the music, and I can show it to you how it's done visually. That's Lady Gaga. She's very black. This is a black sound bar, a waveform, and you can see it's very much filled out. She has used the compression. There's a lot of the bass that's gone. They have cut it, and there's a lot of the highs that actually have gone too. The next one is actually a classical piece, but it's been used in a dubstep remix made by a guy that I've met on SoundCloud. SoundCloud.com, which is a very good exchange place for composers and DJs. And he has used a lot of compression too, you can see that. Then the next two ones, these are classical examples of music. I'll play them to you in just a second. And as you can see, especially this one, that is the anthem for Champagne, a very Danish anthem by H.C. Lumbye, and Champagnegaloppen it's called in Danish. And then the last one here is made by another Danish composer called Rud Langgaard. Very, very subtle, very, very fine, small sound of the violin. And these classical pieces do not use compression. They may have done a little bit because it's both tracks are on CD. But if you don't use the strong compression, you will not be able to be heard. You will not be able to hear the last example. And I would like to show you, or rather, I would like to play some of it for you. If we take Lady Gaga, for instance, this is what it sounds like. What?
It doesn't matter if you love him.
This is loud. We love compression. We can hear our music when we're driving our cars.
Oh, you've done a remix album, great. So, when we're talking of language, we already have an amalgamation of different terms. We know what we're talking about. When classical music, with musicians are talking, we know what DJs are talking about. So no problem there. But what I wanted to try and do was to listen to classical music the way a DJ would do a remix. And the thing is, when you do a remix, you never choose the good tracks because they are already good tracks. So you choose some of the not so good tracks that actually needs that helping hand. And I'm not saying that Humbo is crap, because he's not. I love his stuff. But he, as a classical composer, has moments that I would maybe not dwell too much into. So when I talk about this album, I say, well, I listen to the music and I cut out all the boring bits, and people are in shock. How can you say that about music? No, it's not just boring bits for me. I would do differently. So that's what I have done. And here you see how I have worked it out. I have done a lot of cut and paste. You know what cut and paste is if you're working with text editing. You can choose one word and you can take it other places. You can duplicate it, and you can. And that's exactly the same thing you can do with this one in music, in this musical editing program. I have used a lot of filters, echo. I have used reverb, flanger, all kinds of stuff, and of course I have used compression. And I wish I could show you actually the difference between how I make the music in my computer and how it actually turned out when I got it through what we call the mastering. Because when you do a production of albums or of a track, you do the production in the computer and you finish it. But in order to make it ready for release on a CD, for instance, or through the different distribution systems, like for instance iTunes, you have to use in mastering. You have to put it through a mastering process, and when you do that, it makes the music a bit louder, but you also cut it a little bit. And all these things that you can see here, it doesn't have any strong or very low dynamics. Well, it's not Lady Gaga, I can tell you that. I will play some music for you later at the end. But it is more equalized in the sound. And actually, this is easy here in your car, driving your car. or you hear it in your very bad earphones, or whatever. But I can give you the visual idea of how my production would be. So I would finish this talk with some music. Actually, that kind of